Okay, this video is going to show us how to pass arguments when we're dealing with method calls and method headers. And so what I'd like you to do first is pause the video and write down these notes on passing arguments. And when you get done, we will take a look and explain what this all means. Okay, you should be done writing all these notes down. Now we're going to show what they mean here. Now first we're going to illustrate it as if we were illustrating this in class, but we aren't at class, so I can't. But we're going to take a look at this. What happens, of course, this is where I had students do different things for me, and though we used the method calls, so I called Madeline so she could open up the door, the classroom door. I called Christina so she could pass out papers. I called on Halulu to close the sliding glass doors. Well, let's say that after I get done explaining what we're going to do in class, I realize that the board has a lot of drawings on it, and so I need to have it erased. So I'm not going to do that, am I? So I'm going to have a student do that. And so I am going to call on Emily. And Emily, who plays softball, is going to have to use her skills here in a second. So Emily, I'm going to call Emily. And so we're going to make an Emily method. So actually what we could do is just go down and so add this to your code. We're going to call this the Emily method. And oops, oh man, that's weird. Alright, so there we are, and what she's going to do is she is going to erase the whiteboard. Alright, so that's how that's going to work. And of course she's not going to do that until I call her with her name, just like a method call with a method in our programs. And so what's going to happen here is, so I go, Emily, can you erase the whiteboard? And she gets up and she goes to the board, but she doesn't have the eraser. And so, you know, what's she going to do? Well, here's the thing. The thing is that I have the eraser. Mr. Pfaff, the Mr. Pfaff method here, the main method, has the eraser. So I need, sometimes a main method is going to call on a a method to accomplish some tasks, but they need some data in order to accomplish those tasks. Well, Emily's at the board. She can't erase the board because she doesn't have an eraser. So I am going to pass an eraser to her. All right. So I'm going to pass the eraser. The eraser, is the argument. Okay. So the eraser is the argument. Alright, and so it's inside the parentheses of the method call, and then that gets passed to Emily. Now Emily, if I pass that to Emily, like throw it maybe like a softball, Emily has got to be able to catch it and before she can actually use it. So Emily catches it, and we'll just say let's just say hands. Alright, so the eraser is passed, and Emily's hands are what catches the eraser. And then she erases the whiteboard with the eraser. Alright, and where was the eraser? It was in this method. Mr. Pfaff had it. He passed it to Emily, and she used it to do her task, which was to erase the whiteboard. All right, so that's the picture of it all. If you can imagine that, picture that in your minds. And then the last thing I want to do here is show you, and where did it go? Well, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at this. And so here's the code where we have, we're just going to call, this is very simple. It doesn't really make sense for us to do this. We normally wouldn't, but we're going to name the method triple, and so we're calling the method triple. We're going to pass an 8 to it. The 8 is going to get passed to the num variable. And you know what, I just realized something, that let's go in here. The hands are hands is the parameter variable. We'll say it like that. Okay, that's the parameter variable that catches the argument. So you make sure you type that in. The hands is the parameter variable, and also notice that is also inside of the parentheses, only of the method header. So in triple my num, we're passing the 8, but what we do is we have to write a declaration. And so in here, of course, num is the parameter variable, 8's the argument, the 8 gets passed to num. But so in here, what you have is a memory location, because remember, if a data type in a variable, when the compiler sees a data type in a variable, it reserves a memory location and calls it whatever it's supposed to be named, in this case num. And what's happened is it's assigned, not with an assignment operator, it's assigned with a pass, a method call pass to the parameter variable. So the 8 is stored in num. It's that simple. And now num is in the first line of the method is called. The variable call, remember, it asks for the value of that variable. The return value is the 8. Where did the compiler get the 8 from? Well, not from here. The compiler did not get it from there. The compiler got it from the variable that was declared and assigned inside of this method. And so the return value is an 8, and so new num is going to be assigned 24, and then it's going to print the 24. And just to make sure that we see that's working, then we'll just go like this. Come on, compile, let's go. Oh boy, I don't know what it did, so I'm going to have to save this. I'm going to do a save as, and let's try that again. Okay, and run it. And so notice it says 24. Now let's change the argument to be 100, and so let's see if that works now. So it should, the 100 gets passed to num, and then num gets called here, 100 times 3, which is 300, and so you can see how it does actually work. So later on we'll show why this has to happen this way. For now, I just wanted you to see this process, and we'll look at it more in the next class. So that is it.